Yeah, and I'm really passionate about this because I was a disillusioned teacher. I felt stuck. I didn't feel like I could progress. I felt overlooked. I felt burnt out. And I discovered some tips and tricks and things and that you can put into your routine and work that you can do. And it completely opens up a brand new world. And
Really
since
is.
then, I've been on the and there is some groundwork to do. So, like, if you're stuck, there is a bit of groundwork that you have to do, a bit of healing, a bit of work on certain things, because we'll have thought patterns, we'll have behaviors and deep-seated beliefs that prevent us from doing the things that we need to do to get unstuck. And
That's
so,
it. It
yeah,
is learned.
so what we're going to look at today is we're going to look at, like, what does it look like? What kind of things were you likely to be experiencing if you're stuck? Then we'll have a look at what's really blocking you, which we've given you a little bit of insight to already. And then we'll look at how to overcome that, or start putting the work in. What steps can you take today, this week, this month, that's going to start changing that for you?
Mhm.
We always start with a quote. And this week's quote, we
Mhm.
don't actually know who it's by, do we? But it's a really
No,
good one. So I'll say it. It says, the only thing that stands between you and your dreams is the will to try and the belief that it's possible.
that's it. Normally, the only thing that stands between us and our future is ourselves. So it's time, like, it's our fears, our doubts, our self-limiting beliefs. So it's in getting out of our own way that we can actually move forward, because our mind really is the only limit.
Yeah, and I'm really passionate about this because I was a disillusioned teacher. I felt stuck. I didn't feel like I could progress. I felt overlooked. I felt burnt out. And I discovered some tips and tricks and things that you can put into your routine and work that you can do. And it completely opens up a brand new world.
It
And
really
since
is.
then, I've been on the Great British Martial Arts team. I've won medals. I've become a coach. I lead in a coaching group. And lots of other exciting stuff. So it really works. You really can get unstuck, and a
Yeah,
lot of it is the belief that you can, isn't
that's
it?
it. So it really is, like, we keep saying to ourselves, oh, that's not for me, or, I don't imagine myself in that world, or, I could never do that. And what you say is true. So if you keep saying that, that's effectively true. But just change your belief system, change your mindset, imagine it, go for it. You know what I mean? And that's really it, just go for it, because you can achieve anything. And, speaking of your GB martial arts thing, like, such an amazing achievement. You went from, like, zero, as in, like, unhealthy, to hero, because you transformed so quickly into something that was so beyond what you thought you could do. And it's amazing when you just push yourself forward what you can achieve.
Yeah, and there is some groundwork to do. So, like, if you're stuck, there is a bit of groundwork that you have to do, a bit of healing, a bit of work on certain things, because we'll have thought patterns, we'll have behaviors and deep-seated beliefs that prevent us from doing the things that we need to do to get unstuck. And
That's
so,
it. It is learned. It's learned behavior. It's learned beliefs. It's like, it can come from our upbringing. Like, for me personally, like, I had this poverty consciousness. So, I lived in a lack mentality, whereas, like, achieving big dreams wasn't a possibility. You had to overwork really hard with no time off, no freedom, in order to achieve. And very little was the thanks you got, because you'd be working so hard and you wouldn't actually be getting compensated for what you deserved. Whereas what you can actually do, if you just change your belief system, if you work on those blocks, money blocks especially, you can break out of that, and you can actually create a magical life for yourself. It is generational, I suppose, learning and generational trauma that leads us to stay in this broken cycle. Whereas we can break out of that cycle and create a reality that we want, and a reality that we deserve.
yeah, so what we're going to look at today is we're going to look at, like, what does it look like? What kind of things were you likely to be experiencing if you're stuck? Then we'll have a look at what's really blocking you, which we've given you a little bit of insight to already. And then we'll look at how to overcome that, or start putting the work in. What steps can you take today, this week, this month, that's going to start changing that for you? So to start, what are the common blocks for going for what we want? So one of them, which is a big one and comes out in lots of different ways, is fear.
Yes, big time.
Yeah, so fear of failure, fear of success, and fear of judgment.
Yes, that's it. We're afraid of what people think, like, because no one else has tried it, no one else has done it. We're like, oh, what are they going to say? And then oftentimes, because we are the first one to try something, the people around us will try and kind of plant seeds of doubt, not deliberately maybe, but it's very hard to kind of push forward in a system or an environment that, like, what I call it is a small town mindset. To try and push past that mindset, because of the people around you. So that fear is loosely based on what people will think as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you transform or you change, you make massive changes in your life, you can see the change and you can feel the change, but other people don't see it and are on board with it yet. And so there's like a period where other people close to you have to go through a period of acceptance. They have to see, and I can't remember the words you used, but you said, show them your results. What was it? You said something and then show.
Exactly. Don't tell people your plans, show them your results. And like that is it. Like, oftentimes we have these big plans, and if we're in a low small town mindset, people they're going to hold us back. They're going to say, you can't do that. You have to do the 9 to 5. You have to stay stable and secure. That's too risky. Don't try that. And that will plant seeds of doubt, and that can hold you back. But if you do the thing and then show them the results, they're going to be like, you sure, they can't say anything then, can they? Do you know what I mean? They can't. You've got proof. And what we spoke about there a minute ago is changing. Oftentimes people will get triggered by your change, and they're like, oh my god, you've changed. We're fucking supposed to. We're here to evolve, like, you know what I mean? It's like that. There's a meme where there's a caterpillar and a butterfly, and the caterpillar says to the butterfly, oh my god, you've changed, and the butterfly is like, we're supposed to. You know what I mean? So, like, you have to kind of understand it. Be careful who you tell your plans to if you're surrounded by low vibrational people, in a sense, because they are going to try and set you back, and they're going to be bitchy that you are changing because they're not willing to change themselves.
Yeah. When somebody in a group, so when you're in a group of people that you're close to, it could be family, it could be a friendship group, it could be work colleagues, and you spend a lot of time with them, they're your friends or you're their family, and you spend a lot of time with them, you tend to adopt similar values or similar behaviors. So for example, if a group of people all eat pizza on Friday and go out drinking at the weekend, that's the normal standard, isn't it? And so then if one of those people goes, actually, I don't think this is working for me, it's not good for me, I want to stop, other people can, not everybody, some people will cheer you on, but what happens is they see you realizing something that they're avoiding admitting to themselves, and so then that can make people look at themselves temporarily, and they don't want to. So that's
it triggers them.
So that's why sometimes people cannot be supportive, and that doesn't mean that they won't come around eventually, but you have to have the drive and the self-belief to work through that, and really choose who you spend your time with. You want your cheerleaders around you when you're making a change, don't you? Yeah. Fear of failure is an interesting one, because the only surefire way to ensure complete failure is not to try.
I keep saying that the only way we fail is by not trying. You know what I mean? Everything we do, like whether it's an obstacle we hit or what we perceive as failure, it's learning how not to do it. So you're still learning, so you can do it right the next time. So there is no failure. Exactly. If you just keep going, you will always succeed.
Yeah, and then one that's more sneaky is fear of success. So you might not have the actual thought pattern, oh, what if it works out? But you might start making excuses or letting yourself down, not keeping your promises, because really you're frightened it's going to work.
Yes,
And
yes. That's a big one. Like, that's where imposter syndrome comes in, because we don't feel like we belong in this new environment. It's like, oh my God, you know, could I really be this person? Could I really achieve this? And you kind of freak out, and then you self-sabotage because you're just so unfamiliar with that territory. You know what I mean? And it is that self-limiting belief of, you know, do I deserve success? You know, do I really believe I can achieve this? You know, so it still comes back down to that internal state of feeling like, you know, whether you're good enough or not.
Yeah. Another one is overwhelmed. So sometimes we get overwhelmed because we perhaps set goals that seem too big without breaking them down into manageable steps, and not knowing where to start with it. Maybe there's like, we want to achieve something, but there's so much that we just don't know where to start, and so we don't start anything.
Yes. Oh, I know. Yeah. That's where lists come in great. Like, you know, if you're feeling too much is going on in your head, you're, oh my God, it's all scattered. Write down the list of stuff. Like, you know, I did that with my courses. I wrote down the list of the courses that I started. When I initially started, there was only 2 courses at the time. And I was like, oh my God, there's so much. So I just wrote them down. I wrote down the dates, and I was like, okay, that's manageable. But when it was in my head, I was freaking out. So, like, you know, writing things down is a really good way of just getting it out of that kind of scattered energy.
Yeah. And I think alongside that is, and I think this is one that I've done a lot, is I don't have time. And there's no such thing as
I'm really
time.
triggered by those words. Sorry, Lydia, I'm so triggered by those words to come out of people. I'm too busy or don't have time. It's like you're literally manifesting less time.
Yeah.
Say the opposite. And like, you know, I love saying the story about you as well. It's like the time that you actually changed your words. And you were an hour early a few times. It was hilarious. So it's just like, where did the time come from?
Yeah.
It's because you manifested it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to time, it's never a time issue. It's a priority issue. So you might have lots of things in your life, but if you want to go for your dreams or your desires, then you need to make them a priority.
Yeah.
And so other things might need to be put on the back burner or done less, you know, watch less TV, do less scrolling, don't go out partying, or see if you can get, if it's because you've got small children, see if you've got someone who can look after them so you can spend some time concentrating on what it is that you need to do. Where there's a will, there's a way.
There is a way, definitely. And
when there's an excuse, then we don't have the will. We have
exactly.
An excuse.
And oftentimes as well, we're putting other people's needs before our own. We're people pleasing. So therefore, like, we don't see our own wants and desires as a priority, as you just said there. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally sacrificing your own life for somebody else's. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not fair. You know what I mean? And I know we're all helpers here, but like, at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first. You know what I mean? What do you want? What do you enjoy? What's going to make best for your life? That's what you should be prioritizing.
Yeah, and I think in the caring professions, so like nursing and teaching and things like that, like jobs where you are caring for other people, often we are people pleasers. We've got quite a lot of people pleasing traits. Might not be, you know, it might not be preventing us doing the things that we want, but a lot of us are people pleasers. We want to do nice things for other people, and so it's you. If you are a people pleaser, then you need to look at that. You need to get a hold of that, because that kind of, if you stop people pleasing, it also helps the fear of judgment, you know, because you're not invested in what other people think. So working on your people pleasing is a really powerful thing to do. Like, if you can let go of the people pleasing, it really helps, doesn't it? And next one I've got on my list is procrastination, which is a biggie.
Yes.
And I'm terrible for procrastinating. And we do that often, you know, when we get overwhelmed, we might procrastinate because we don't know where to start. Perfectionism. So instead of just putting something out there or taking that step imperfectly, we hold back and over plan because we want it to be perfect. And we have to let go of perfect if we're doing something. It's not going to be perfect. If you do something a million times, it might not be perfect. And you don't get to perfection or near to perfection without practice. So you need to start making steps towards what it is that you want. Yeah.
And I find with that procrastination, we end up, the longer we take to do something, the more anxiety we're in. And when we actually do the task ends up being enjoyable. And you're like, oh my God, what was I here in the first place? So the less time you actually take to actually do the thing, the less time you're putting worry on yourself. You know what I mean? Just rip the band-aid off. It's so much easier. Like, you know, you suggested me to do the shine this week. You know, you said it. On the minute you said it, I was like, oh my God, no. And then a few minutes later, I was like, I already had a script sorted and everything. And I was like, yes, I put the band-aid off. I'm going to do this. But it was like a quick decision. I had to just, my initial decision was like, no, I'm freaking out. But then I was like, no, she asked me this she suggested this for a reason. This is guidance from the universe. I'm just going to do it. And the minute I ripped the band-aid off, I'm really excited to do it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, we have a coaching group where we practice coaching and other skills around, you know, coaching businesses and stuff. So one of the things that we do is we do a 15 to 20 minute shine on the Zoom. So each of us take it in turns to lead on a thing that we're passionate or about, or something that we can teach on to give value to each other, don't we? So it's your turn. I'm so super excited for it.
Really excited, you know. It's just nice that as I said, the minute you said it, I was like, no, I'm not ready. And then I just said, no, maybe I am ready. You know what I mean? I was just literally just pushing through that fear, and literally the only way out of fear is through it. And the minute I jumped over that fear, I'm just excited, really excited. You know, and that's the thing, you're going to find so much magic beyond that fear because it's actually something that you want to do.
Yeah. And it's important to realize that sometimes when we think about procrastination, we think it's like tidying the house before doing the essay, or it's scrolling, or it's watching a film. But procrastination can be perfection. It can be over planning something instead of just doing it. It's like overthinking about something is also procrastination. Like if it prevents you starting something, it's procrastination. And it's fair to say that often when, you know, we think, oh, it's too overwhelming, or I don't want to, I can't think straight, I don't want to do that yet. And so we're like, all right, I'll spend a bit of time scrolling, or I'll just tidy this up instead, or whatever. And we think that we're giving ourselves relief, but we're not, because it's still in the back of our head saying, and I know this as a teacher, you know, when you're planning to do and you've got the whole holiday, and instead of doing it at the beginning of holiday, you do it at the end, you know. And actually I would have enjoyed my holiday so much better if it wasn't, there's an emotional load to having something in the background running, going, you still have to do that thing. You still have to do that thing, you know. So if you can get into the habit of just going, I'm going to do it at the earliest opportunity, and then you can enjoy the time that you have left afterwards. Yeah. And then a big one is negative self-talk.
Yeah, that is the biggest one. Like, you know, so that's self-limiting release. Like, you keep telling yourself you're not good enough. You ask yourself, do I deserve this? You know, who am I to achieve this? All of these things come into your mind, and we keep coming in over and over again. You know, we can achieve anything we want to achieve. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. And the only thing that's in your way is yourself. Push through that fear. You're literally capable of anything that you want. Stop thinking about where you came from, that environment that you're in, that surrounding that you're in. You're born to be different. So, you know, stop following the sheep off the cliff and start following your dreams.
Yeah. And if you think it's because, like, I'm not talented in that area, or I don't know that skill, there was a study or something, I can't remember who did it, but basically I've heard that 20 minutes, no, is it 8 minutes a day? I think it's only 8 minutes a day or something. 8 minutes a day for a year on a skill, somewhere between 8 and 20 minutes. I'm sure it's only 8 minutes, actually. I'll find out and put it in the comments. But even if it's 20 minutes a day for a whole year will make you better than 95% of people. So
But you know,
it's
even if you did less than that, if you did 20 minutes a week, you're going to be better than you were this
before.
time last year. You know, yeah, exactly. So,
but you know, you don't have to give that much time to that skill, but that just shows you if you can go from a complete beginner to being better than 95% of people in pretty much any skill, if you are consistent and keep doing it, then there's no reason that not having the skill, not having the talent is not an excuse, is it? You know, it's not a reason.
Yeah. There's so much ways to learn and evolve. You know, we've the world of knowledge at our fingertips. You know, you can get free courses, you can get paid for courses. Look at us now, even the courses that we have under our belts, the certifications that we have under our belts, because we tried and we pushed through. You know, we were after achieving so much that we didn't think we could achieve because we actually just made the effort. So yeah, saying that you don't have the experience, gain the experience. You know, you have every opportunity to do that.
And how do you gain the experience? By starting.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
what is that phrase or that quote? When is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When is the next best time? Now, do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.